Hi everyone, it is me, Sailor Starfighter Dustin here, and today I'm going to talk about, like I talked about a lot, how I broke, the only girls or only women can be Sailor Fighter Oversight. And I know there are some in the Sailor Moon followership that put stock in that oversight, who will say that NAOKO TAKEUCHI or TAKEUCHI, however you say her kin name, or her first name, came up with it. And this isn't, but that's not about this film at all. I'm not going to make a film talking about did she say it, did she not say it. But I'm going to say how I broke it. And some Sailor Moon followers might not like to hear that. Now, who broke it? The Toei business broke it in between 95 YL, when Sailor Stars was being made. You see, a lot of folks are going to say that there were no men Sailor fighters, but that wasn't true. Julian, Jordan, and myself, the Sailor Starlights, when we weren't Sailor fighters, the Free Lights or the Tri-Lights when we were the Songster team, we broke the Oversight. We were men Sailor fighters. And I know that that's hard for a lot of folks to believe that we were. And I know what you're going to say. Oh, that may have been true in the drawing show, but maybe not so true in the books. Yeah, in the books we were women. It somehow made ourselves look like men. I don't know how it was pulled off. But I do know in the drawing show we were men Sailor fighters. And some folks say, and how breaking that Oversight was most likely one of the greatest things I ever did. And I could care less about that Oversight. And some folks are going to say that me and my fellow starfighters, I guess, they're going to say that that's why Sailor Stars never gotten put into English until years later, due to not knowing how to deal with us. I don't know if that's true or not. All I know is that I broke the Oversight. If it was an oversight, and it wasn't only me. I had Jordan and Dustin. They also broke the Oversight with me as well. And it was a Toei business that chose to make us that way. But then someone's going to say, well, didn't, but yeah. But then when we shape-shifted into Sailor Fighters, they're going to say, then we were women. Or whatever they're going to say. Now, that may have been it. They're like, oh, well, they still follow the Oversight. Yes and no. Since we were already men that could shapeshift into Sailor Fighters, then yeah, the Oversight was broken. And I'm, happy to have broken that Oversight. I'm happy to have been the first to do it. I made it smoothly for Sailor Earth, Ernest, and he's in those like Sailor Sun, Snoop Dogg, or Calvin to be Sailor Fighters. If it wasn't for me. Now, a lot of folks think that we were also the ones. A lot of folks will say, oh, you can't break that Oversight. Well, I did, and nothing happened to me. Folks are going to say, well, wasn't it the Oversight that you folks didn't break or did break that made NAOKO TAKEUCHI and and the Toei business have a falling out? Now that's for a film. I don't know if that happened or did not happen. And that would be another film for another day. But I tell you that I was the one who broke the oversight. You know, the oversight that some folks in the Sailor Moon followership put a lot of stock in. You know, and a lot of folks will say, well, why do you think there was an oversight? Why do you think she came up with one? I don't know. The only guess I can come up with is someone asked her why there were no men sailor fighters in the books that she wrote and drew at that time as far as Sailor Moon went. And I guess that's the only answer she could come up with, that only women and girls were called to be sailor fighters, I guess. You know? And anyway, a lot of folks said, "Oh, that's an oversight. You got to follow it." And if it was, well, then the Toei business broke it. You know. You know. So, yeah, I was happy to have broken that only girls can be sailor fighters oversight. And if I had to do it over again, I would have broken it again. You know. And I know some folks in the Sailor Moon followership don't like it when oversights aren't followed. Well, that's too bad. You know, in 9 between 95 YL when we showed up, and Sailor Moon when we did, because Sailor Stars was set in 9 between 95 YL, or towards the end of it, I would think. You know, and a lot of folks out there don't really like that I broke the oversight, but I did. But then again, I take it back because there were a lot of folks in the Sailor Moon followership who were open-minded enough that say anyone can be a sailor fighter, man or woman. So there you go. Tell what you think about that. Give this film a like, share, and playlist it, and I'll see you later.